Hi, this video is about ChatGPT as a virtual assistant for SAP. You heard it right. You can now use ChatGPT as a virtual assistant to SAP. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. We are not talking about integrating ChatGPT with SAP, which definitely is a very expensive and time-consuming process. On the other hand, we are going to maintain ChatGPT and SAP as two different systems and still see how ChatGPT can be used as a virtual assistant to SAP. My name is Raman and I am from a company called Emerging Alliance, an SAP authorized channel partner since 2010. In my experience of working with more than 500 plus companies for the past 25 years, I've come across a lot of SAP implementation, which has been a great success, at the same time has been a great flop. Now, I'm going to compress my 25 years of experience in giving you an expert opinion and advice of how ChatGPT can be used as a virtual assistant to SAP. The pain point when it comes to SAP is that a user or a consultant cannot master the entire SAP, at least not in one lifetime, because the features and functionalities available in SAP is so vast that it's totally impractical to have it mastered. So we always need an SAP expert as an assistant. Adding to the problem, we want them at any point of time when we are facing a problem with SAP, so that the expert can advise on the tips, tricks, know-how, where what is available, what to do, what not to do, where to go and find certain menus, and all of that. Now, for all the viewers, let me tell you that you are not alone in this problem. There are millions and millions of users and consultants who are in the same kind of problem that you are facing today. Before I dive deeper into the video, let me just categorize the users of SAP into three broad categories. The first one is end users. By end user, I would mean people who perform day-to-day transactions on SAP. And please note, this category holds 90% of all the users. Then we have the functional consultant and support consultant category, who handle configurations, user training, implementation, support, and so on. And finally, technical consultants who are involved in coding, writing programs, enhancing, developing, or customizing the standard SAP Business One. Let's see how ChatGPT can help each of these users group, starting with the end users first. When it comes to end users, the first and the foremost place where end users can use ChatGPT as a virtual assistant is finding the menu or the menu paths. Yes, SAP has a lot of menus and complex menu hierarchies, which is always overwhelming for even the experienced end users. So for anyone who's occasionally using it or who's new, life is going to be hell. And in this situation, ChatGPT can be a go-to tool for asking questions on specific menu paths and the menu that needs to be used. For example, you can ask simple questions like, ChatGPT, how can I access the create sales order menu in SAP SD module, or many more questions like this. So the answer or the guidance given by ChatGPT most of the time saves a lot of time for end users and reduces the confusion that they face when using SAP. The second point or place where ChatGPT can be used as a virtual assistant is remembering the T codes. T codes are the shortcuts for transactions in SAP, and there are so many available in SAP that remembering all of them is going to be a gregarious task, and it's not possible to memorize them all, especially for users who are using multiple modules. Now, ChatGPT can provide these T codes instantaneously. For example, you can ask questions like, what is the T code for viewing inventory reports? And the answer might be MB52. And you type the answer and try to get the report. Or ChatGPT might guide you with multiple T codes which can help you get the answer. So in those cases, you can specifically ask what is the difference between this T code and this T code. Or you can be specific in telling ChatGPT, look, these are the requirements that I have, I'm looking in a report for, and it will come up with an exact T code. The third place, a point where ChatGPT can be used as a virtual assistant in SAP is identifying the exact report or getting to know where these reports are available in SAP. Now, SAP contains numerous reports across various modules, which definitely is very challenging to locate. Now, SAP can guide you to the exact report and their T codes if the details of the report that you're looking for is given elaborately. For example, where can I find a sales performance report in SAP? So the expected answer is look at VA05 for listing sales order. You can further filter it by date range or customers to review the performance. And you can follow these instructions, go to that particular T code and find the report. If you want further fine tuning, give a detailed requirement of the report and you can expect ChatGPT to give you the exact T code for the reports. The fourth place, a point where ChatGPT can be used as a virtual assistant in SAP is executing a transaction. Now, for a new user or experienced user who have done some transactions very rarely, it's difficult to remember all the fields and the details in the fields that needs to be filled. So in that case, you can basically tell the transaction code or the name of the transaction and ask ChatGPT how to execute that particular transaction. And guess what? You should get a detailed answer for executing that transaction. Go ahead, take the guide and try to do the transactions. And if you have any issues in doing the transactions, then you can drill down further details and you will get that. And if posting the transaction gives you some kind of error, then copy that error and paste it in ChatGPT to ask what should be the corrective action that needs to be taken to come out of that particular error. The fifth point or place where ChatGPT can be used as a virtual assistant is in training a new user. So generally in an SAP environment, a new user is either trained by an experienced user or there's a manual through which he learns it. But both of these are very difficult path to take for a new user. So if he's a new user, he can always follow the steps that I've mentioned above to basically do the training. He can have a sandbag or a dummy system where as per his job roles, the transaction that he has to do can be basically asked to ChatGPT and he can basically take the training by himself. So that's a very strong use case for using ChatGPT as a personal assistant in training new users. The sixth point or place where ChatGPT can be used as a virtual assistant is you get very complex reports in SAP. Reports which basically run into long pages or has many rows and columns to basically look at. Now in these cases, what you can do is you can export these reports into a CSV or an Excel format. And if we have a ChatGPT 4 Pro, a paid version, you can have the Excel uploaded in ChatGPT and it will take some time to analyze the entire Excel. And from there on, whatever questions you have with regards to the complete data set can be typed in a natural English language and you should be getting like 85 to 90% accurate results on it. Now reports which has huge data to be crunched can be explored like this. Now this is a very strong use case that ChatGPT has when it comes to being a virtual assistant to SAP. Now we'll go to the second category of users, which is consultants. We'll consider predominantly the functional consultant and the support consultant who help to implement and who help to support a system like SAP. The first and the foremost use case of ChatGPT as a virtual assistant for SAP is guidance for configuration. Now definitely the prompt here matters a lot. By prompt I would mean the way you ask the question on configuring certain things in SAP to ChatGPT is a prompt. So it will take some time for you to arrive at a prompt, but once you have arrived at it, you can use the same template to get various configuration questions answered from ChatGPT. So you want to configure a certain module, configure a certain feature, you can always ask that all your riders and clause to ensure that you get the exact configuration that you required. Once you've done the configuration, please try to run the features and functionalities and see if you're facing some errors. And if you have any errors, have that asked as a question to see what changes that needs to be made to the configuration. The second use case when it comes to ChatGPT being used as a virtual assistant for SAP in case of functional and technical consultant is preparing the training material. Now, ChatGPT is a great tool for preparing tailor-made training material for the users. So you can basically give a use case scenario of how a specific customer basically does a transaction, and based on that scenario, you can ask ChatGPT to prepare a training material. And if ChatGPT misses a certain aspect of training material, you can always ask those aspects to be added, and it will give you a very detailed training material which can be documented and printed and can be given to your users. A word of caution, before you hand it over to the user, please make sure that you execute the training material to see if it's properly done, and then you can hand it over to the user. The third use case is using ChatGPT to prepare user acceptance testing template, UAT template. Now this is a very tedious task for an implementation consultant or a support consultant to basically do, because this particular template or this particular Excel sheet, UAT Excel sheet, is very detailed in nature. So you can always go to ChatGPT and you can say, for a particular transaction, what are the UAT parameters that you want to check? What are the UAT parameters that you want to get listed? And you can ask ChatGPT to prepare an UAT test document. The last use case in this particular section is preparation of user manual. I did tell you that preparation of training guides. Now, preparation of training guide is something that you do it for a particular training program or for a particular person to be trained. Now, when it comes to user manual, the implementation consultant has to make a user manual which is very specific and tailor-made to a specific company's scenario. So in that case, proper instructions can be given to ChatGPT that for a particular feature or functionality or a transaction code, what are the fields that needs to be filled, what are the mandates that needs to be followed. These can be mentioned, and a user manual which is specific, tailor-made for a particular can be made. Similarly, when it comes to a support consultant, if there's some new feature that the support consultant is adding or training the user, or if there's some configuration changes which he's making because of which the way in which a transaction is executed is going to change, and he wants to prepare a manual that can be given to the end user, in that case he can use ChatGPT to create that particular user manual. Now what is happening is he has to manually write a user manual with various screenshots and stuff like that. So that is something that you can hand over to ChatGPT. Now the third category that we are going to look for is how ChatGPT can be used as a virtual assistant for SAP for the technical consultants. Now when it comes to technical consultant, the first place where they can use ChatGPT is for ABAP codes that they use for customization. When it comes to getting an input from ChatGPT on creating an ABAP code or validating an ABAP code, it's very important that you have a well-developed prompt. So the prompt, there are various templates available in the prompt of how you should structure the prompt. Make sure that those structure is properly done. Now this cannot be an universal prompt template for everybody. You will have to arrive based on the scenarios and situations that you have. So the prompt might take 1 or 2 iterations, and finally once you have a final iteration, you can always use that prompt to generate various ABAP codes. Now, the second place where you can use ChatGPT is fine-tuning the ABAP codes. Now remember, you had an ABAP code, you asked multiple questions, the ABAP code got fine-tuned in ChatGPT. You use those ABAP code to basically create a customization, and then you basically run those customization and you see that you're getting some errors. Bring those errors forward to ChatGPT and tell them that using these ABAP code I'm facing these errors, and you will see that there will be a correction of ABAP code happening, which can once again be deployed into SAP to get a right answer. Probably this iteration has to go in multiple cycles until you get the desired results. The third place for technical consults where you can use ChatGPT is once again preparation of UAT documents. Now based on the customization that you have built or the query that you have built, you can ask ChatGPT to prepare a detailed UAT template, and will give you one based on which can be handed over to the customer for doing the UAT. Now having given this explanation, there is a word of caution, especially for technical consultants and for implementation and support consultant. Now, what ChatGPT gives definitely requires an human intervention to choose and pick what is correct and what is wrong. So you will have to be a bit iterative in nature for using ChatGPT when it comes to configurations, when it comes to code creations or fine-tuning of codes. ChatGPT has immense potential to revolutionize how users access SAP and interact with the system. Whether you are an end user, a functional consultant, a technical consultant, or a support consultant, ChatGPT can act as your virtual assistant, enhancing productivity on one side and reducing complexity on the other side. Now, there might be a lot of SAP users, technical, functional consultants, and even end users who might already be doing what I said in this particular video. But I'm sure for a lot of people who haven't known what I've explored in this particular video would be of an immense help for you. Please go ahead and try using ChatGPT as a virtual assistant for SAP. And there's no limitations on how you can use ChatGPT as a virtual assistant. Do let me know if you need any further details on this particular topic, on this particular topic. Our contacts and coordinates are available in the description below, and we'll be more than happy to have a one-on-one with you to help you out on how to use ChatGPT as a virtual assistant for SAP. Thank you, and look forward in meeting you in one more video on SAP.